At Pate's Pong Paddle hit us up from parts unknown, probably Forts in Georgia, and he said, I get not questioning individual play calls, but is it reasonable to question a series of plays, like Bama calling 9 straight pass plays for 3 straight 3-and-outs in the second quarter versus LSU? Not to be too specific. I have this thing on our show. I hate people questioning play calling. I don't hate people who question play calling, because that would be a hateful attitude. I don't hate the person, but the thing that some people do, continuously just questioning play calling, I've never been about it. You've probably never turned on one of my shows on Sunday and heard me question play calling. However, I've had a time or two where I questioned an overall philosophy or an overall approach. You know, like if I think that you have a definite advantage, the interior of your offensive line versus the interior of someone's defensive front, and you don't exploit that in the red zone, I question that. If you're continually going to something that I don't feel is your strength, I question that. Individual plays, I don't question. And look, half the time I may even be wrong when I'm questioning your philosophy. But I don't think it's egregious to do that. The reason I personally don't traffic in it a lot is because one of the blessings that we get when we go meet with coaching staffs is sometimes we'll sit down with like an offensive coordinator. And I will frequently ask those guys about a game that happened the year before, still fresh in their mind. And I'll ask them, hey, what about this play? What about this sequence? Take me through it. They could go for an hour. And what they're doing is they're rarely just pulling up that play and saying, all right, here's what happened. Here's why it didn't work. Sometimes, yeah, it's just a lack of execution. But most of the time, what they have to do to explain a play call, what a college football coach has to do, if they're really going to be thorough about it, is they have to take you all the way back to spring, and they have to take you all the way back to their self-scouting, and they have to take you all the way back to their player evals, and they have to take you all the way back to strength and conditioning teams showing gains or losses, and where is a player relative to where we wanted them to, and then how does that correlate to what we want to do in terms of changing our philosophy and what we think would work in this set against this look and against this front. And so then you get into spring ball and you start working on some opponents for the upcoming season, and you see which looks you expect, and you see how your tight end performs against this set and out of this bunch set, and it's all recorded. And they study that stuff and they hammer it, and they're running percentages and numbers, and you got analytics going into it. And then you go into the summer and you're getting feedback, because coaches would never watch those workouts themselves. And you're finding out, all right, who's dropping the ball, who's catching the ball, whose speed is still where it needs to be in terms of our GPS monitoring. Then you get in fall camp and you find out who can handle the workload mentally and physically. And then maybe you're watching the other team's spring games and you're getting reports from them. And then you get in the season and you're comparing what you expected from your opponents in certain looks and situations versus what you're getting. And then you get to game week, and you're really hardcore on installation of that specific game plan, and you have seen in practice what you think works and what you percentage-wise think gives you the best chance to succeed. And then it all leads up to that play in that situation, and they can tell you plainly, we called it, it didn't work, but most of the time they'll tell you, we'd do it again. We got the look we wanted. We got the situation we wanted. We had the guys we wanted in the position we wanted. They just out-schemed us. They out-executed us. Or maybe, there was a procedural mishap before the snap. Or maybe there was a misread by the quarterback. He was supposed to check out of this if he saw that and he didn't. There are 1,000,001 things that go into a play call that a vast majority of people on Twitter questioning play calling have no concept of. It's like you think you're looking at a puddle and you're looking at an ocean. And if you ever jumped into it, you'd find out quickly. That's what you'd sound like, questioning play calling. So I don't do it, because I'm smart enough at least to be able to see, that's not a puddle. And I don't jump in, because I'm not qualified to. I welcome you to join me. I know it's not as fun, but I welcome you to join me. However, that doesn't mean that coaches calling plays are immune from criticism. Doesn't mean they're perfect. People are making mistakes every drive, every series. What I am saying is the guys who are making the mistakes are the ones actually doing it at the highest level possible. In most cases, you would not be able to find someone who's better equipped to do the job they're doing. That doesn't mean that they're perfect, far from it. It just means the best in the world are even going to make mistakes, no different than a player. It is, how much can you cut down on those? How consistently can you do it the right way? Most guys who have a headset on calling plays, most of them are there because they've proven themselves to be able to do it the right way. And if they haven't, they won't be there very long.